So I'm Chris Edwards. I'm the program director of Jumpstart Coatesville. I want to thank you guys for the invite. I got a lot of info here, so I'm just going to jump right into it. Our ask right now, in order to teach Coatesville residents how to find, purchase, finance, and develop neglected, unused, or blighted real estate throughout the city, we're requesting the three following things. We want to form an advisory board full of community-based developers, city officials, business owners, and residents. We're seeking partnerships with banks, CDFIs, private capital, to provide access to capital and credit to the organization and our graduates, as well as mission-based community organizations throughout the city. And we're seeking funding of $50,000. Right now, this is why the organization is needed in the area, because when revitalization happens, people typically get left behind. Normally because people don't have access to the education, resources, or capital needed to take advantage of the opportunity. For years, public and private organizations have focused their development and urban revitalization efforts and dollars outside of the Coatesville area. As the result, income and property ownership rates in Coatesville residents are less than half of the county averages. If you fast forward to 2018, the city was declared an opportunity zone. Since then, hundreds of millions of dollars have been invested in the city, which is a good thing, but it's crucial that Coatesville families and business owners are able to build some wealth alongside the city's rebirth. We've identified a couple of challenges here. So how do we give Coatesville families and residents the support they need to become property owners in Coatesville? As far as revitalization goes, how do we prevent the displacement of Coatesville residents? And we'll dive into the numbers a little bit. I'm going to work this backwards. If you just look at the Coatesville numbers, 58% of the residents here are tenants. The per capita income that's per individual is just over $21,000, as opposed to almost $56,000 in the county. Family of four, the median income is $53,000, as opposed to $110,000 in the county. And within the city limits, it's 26% of a poverty rate, as opposed to 7% throughout the county. Those are big, big gaps. And when you look at what's happening here in the city, typically, somewhere around 43% of the county's housing vouchers are dedicated right here in the city, 2 square miles of a city of 13,500 people. So that is essentially a design concentration of poverty, and that's a big, big problem. Here's one of our solutions for that at Jumpstart Coatesville, is to focus on removing neighborhood blight through scattered site rehabilitation. We'll create a mix of affordable workforce and market rate housing while avoiding gentrification through steady growth and keeping wealth local. We're going to create opportunities for local residents to invest and develop in their own neighborhoods. We'll create safer neighborhoods and raise property values responsibly through blight reduction. We're going to help first-time investors become more attractive to lenders. We're going to increase diversity and change the face of real estate development. And here's the timeline that we plan to do that in. It's a lot of information, so I'll summarize it. Right now, we're wrapping up our first course. It wraps up on Monday, actually, and then we're going to conduct exit interviews. We're going to do coaching sessions, loan pre-qualifications, and matching with coaches. By May, we're going to have open town hall style seminars conducted monthly in the city. They're going to cover real estate topics, revitalization topics with panelists, and it's going to be open to the public. By July, we aim to have our advisory board, our strategic partnerships, and startup funding secured. By the end of the year, we're looking to have 25% of the graduates purchase property for redevelopment. We'll have our full staff. We'll do one more course, and the organization will also purchase property for redevelopment. Next year, we're going to do our 2 courses, and we're going to start our private lending program to jumpstart graduates. And in 2025, we'll continue the pace of courses, continue acquisitions, and we're going to secure a primary business location right here in the city. I won't dive too much into these numbers, but you can see the breakdown of the ask here for $50,000. Revenue is pretty moderate. It just comes from registration fees right now. Next year, we'll do 2 classes, so we'll have more fees. We'll have some acquisitions of rental properties, so that'll increase that income, and then we'll have some sales to go and lending fees as well to break even. As far as our team, me, the program director, Chris Edwards. I've been a licensed real estate professional since 2008. The executive admin is Jill Anoya. She's also a real estate professional. She works the back end of stuff, and she's essentially the heartbeat that makes everything go. What we're looking for as far as the team is a director of acquisitions, sales and property management, outreach and community relations, and a loan originator for the financing program. As far as the contact goes, I'm easy to find. Just give me a call, shoot me a text. If you want to learn more about the program itself and the steps of how people actually get from A to B, go to jumpstartcoatesville.com. If you want to learn about the model as a whole, you go to jumpstartgermantown.com. That's what Jumpstart Coatesville is modeled after. And you can follow us on Facebook, please, on Instagram, please do the same. And that's about all I have. I hope I got 5 minutes there. I did it.
the organization or Jumpstart? Are you a for-profit or non-profit?
We wanted to get started right away. So start as a for-profit, but there's thoughts of making it a nonprofit. It makes a lot of sense in the future, but just because we wanted to get started, get the program going, get banking, get some property purchased and start to rehab things, we wanted to do with the LLC because it was faster. But moving forward, it makes sense to have a nonprofit component, I think.
And when you started in what city did you say you're in right now?
Well, no, Jumpstart Coatesville, it's modeled after Jumpstart Germantown.
Right.
There's several Jumpstarts all throughout the region. There's about 17 or so.
Right. So what was the seed money to get those started?
Well, the Jumpstart Germantown was, I guess the seed money was from the owner who had a line of credit that essentially started to purchase real estate and rehab it himself. Seed money for Jumpstart Coatesville is right here. So, I've started essentially just by education and starting that first. Because the most important part of this whole thing is that the content is valuable and that it's applicable and it can be implemented by someone that takes the course. So you don't want this just to be another, Instagram, real estate development program that's nonsense. We want to make sure that the people that take it are motivated, that they're able, and that they're willing to do this work, and they have a heart to see the city thrive and not just flip and do only market rate housing, but workforce and affordable housing too. So when people apply, we interview them to make sure that that's essentially where the heart is, and then we get them started.
Chris, nice presentation.
Thank you.
A couple questions about the homeownership piece. You're changing mindsets. And I guess one part is change mindsets. Is there a coaching and counseling component to change that mindset from rental property to now this is my property and the sustainability factors I'm concerned about? How is that question?
Yeah. So the first step in the program is creating your plan. So what we want to do is we want to talk to people and see where they are. Everybody doesn't start in this process in the same place like you're mentioning. Some people have more financial literacy and resources, other people have less. So as they go through the program, I'm easy to attain, to get a hold of, to answer questions. And then afterwards, when you match up with a coach, you want to match them up with a person that's the right person for them. So if their credit is bruised or they don't have a lot of money, but they just want to get back on track with credit and learn how to save and just do basic financial calculations and lifestyle, we can match them with a person that will help them with that. Maybe they're a couple of years away from buying a property, that's fine. And then there's somebody right now who maybe has a property already, they're just looking to do some more projects. They're not really sure how, they need a team, so we can match them with the person that's appropriate for them too. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was thinking kind of the same thing James was thinking. Well, first of all, I love that you're focusing on reducing the blight and bringing some pride to the neighborhoods and people investing in those neighborhoods. So I think the presentation was great, and I think you had the right statistics and facts to bring awareness to a situation without kind of overdoing it.
Right.
I would encourage you to start that nonprofit wing sooner rather than later, because you eliminate a lot of potential funders for something like this, where they can't give it to you as a for-profit entity.
Right.
So that's not a hard process to get started, and I think it would suit you well to do it soon. One of the challenges you're going to run into in Coatesville is the redevelopment is kind of a moving train that's getting faster right now.
Yeah.
So the acquiring those properties is going to get harder and harder
Yeah.
as others want to get in and do it. So you got to, I think you're going to need to line up some of that funding sooner rather than later. And I think the private sector, nonprofit sector, are even more likely to get some of that startup funding, like $50,000.
Right.
So that's just my.
No, I appreciate that. I agree. Thank you.